Welcome back everyone, and welcome to all the new subscribers. Today we're doing witches, and these are my favorite to do. These are a few little ones that I did last year that I kept. They've actually been lustered. So instead of doing exactly what I did last year, I've taken it up a notch. But aren't these cute? I actually do them with no faces. Kind of like them with no faces, but you're welcome to put anything on them that you want to do. This is just a starting off point. First off, again, I'm using my patterns. Where's my small one? There's my small one. Here's the small one. She was made with the small one. And then she was made with the medium-sized one. And the big one I actually use for a cape, if you want to do a cape, which gets you out of having to do arms, which I don't like doing. Anyway, so again, these are just cut out of craft foam. This one is 6 by 6, and it's just rounded at the bottom. This one is 4 by 4, rounded at the bottom. And this one, the bigger one, is also 6 by 6 here, but it is 8 inches across on the bottom, okay? And they're easy enough to do. You can cut them like this if you want to out of craft foam. So they're easy enough to figure out. So got my slab prepared. It's 1/4 inch. It's already been compressed. Some of the tools, with these witches, you can go crazy making them. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I like to press into the clay. This is actually one of my favorite rolling pins for Halloween. It's got skulls in it. Can go Victorian, can go goth, can do all sorts of stuff. That also almost looks like a snowflake. But anyway, really fun rolling pin. I do not know where I got this. I've had it for years. So I don't know if you can take a screenshot and do a Google search if you want this one, but there's so many rolling pins out there. Make these guys your own. So I've got some stamps. I've got one of my MKM rollers. This is another MKM roller that I actually use for the hair. And these are super fun. Go to Joann's this time of year. I actually got these last year, but they're lace, and these are cobwebs. This is just another type of cobweb. Makes a really fun border. And then I found this cute little lace belt. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to first roll my rolling pin because I just really like this for witches. If you can see this glaze that I use, this black, it's one at Duncan's, so I don't know if you can get it anymore, but it's very black is what it's called. And this is cone 6. It breaks over texture and goes white. So it's super cool. I don't know what I'm going to glaze these in this year because I can't get the Duncan very black. Anyway, so I press these in, and when I press in with this roller, I don't use the handles. I just roll along and press over to get a good texture. And then before you do any cutting, you want to lift that up so it's not stuck to your table, okay? I'm going to go ahead and use this one. Somehow cut myself. I'm always bleeding or cut somewhere. I do cut out the rounded corners. All right, so I've got this. One other really cool thing, I do these a little different than I do my gnomes. Keep your old sheets, old pillowcases. A lot of people will do this with saran wrap, which makes it nice because you can see through to the pattern, but I can also feel. And it just smooths it, all your corners, makes them really soft looking, without having to add any water. So I'll do both sides. of this. Okay. So if you're going to add your, oh, you can't even see me. Sorry about that. I'm going to add my maker's mark. Well, I've got this just like I did on the ghosts and the gnomes. So there's my maker's mark. And then I'm going to come in here, score my sides. My clay is super, super soft, so I'm not going to go crazy on the scoring and the slipping. When your clay is really soft, it doesn't take much to stick it together. So again, I'll use this Pizelle, and I can link that. I've linked it in the ghosts and the gnomes. I just kind of want these edges to touch. I'm not going to actually overlap these. Here, let me move it down so you can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm going to actually just have them touch. I'm going to go ahead and take that all the way up. Just kind of tack that together. You can turn it over, roll your, I don't want to lose my texture. So I'm trying to be really careful. So what I want to actually, I am going to be really careful and just kind of join that seam. Just right there. But I don't want to lose my skull texture. So then I'm going to take this NKM tool. Sorry, I must have cut my thumb. But, well, blood and witches, right? A little sacrifice. So I'm going to come down that seam with this roller, just to give her a little bit of trim. And then I'm going to go ahead and join up here and then go all the way around her dress. And I'm just twisting that Pizelle thingy in my hand as I'm going around, and it's super, super nice because I can press against here and then join that up. So there. I do want to fix this. That's because I didn't cut it very well. Okay, so basically we've got our body here. And I'm going to press that up just a little bit. So it's basically the same thing that we did with the gnomes. I'm going to pull her skirt out. She's going to trail. She's going to be a pretty witch. Witches are pretty. Witches are fun. So many things, so many different ways you can take them. You can take them scary and gross and ragged. You can take them and make them pretty. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. Let her set up just a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to work on the hat. So the hat is basically a ball. Just pull up a chair here, since we're going to do some pinch pots. So I'm going to roll this in, and I actually, for those of you who don't know, I'm in Utah, which is super, super dry. So I work pretty much outside. I mean, my studio's here. In fact, let me see if I can twist you. Just kind of give you a tour. And that's my view. I love working out with the doors open and being outside, and absolutely love it. I'm from Alaska originally, and basically just love being outside. Which sounds really funny because the winters are so brutal. It's probably why I love being outside, because you have to spend the winters inside. All right, so I've got a ball. I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna skewer it. Then I'm gonna build my hat on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and cone up where the hat is, the top of the hat. So I'll get that started. And once I get that started, then I take it off of here, got a hole in here. Now you're gonna do your pinch pot. I'm just pinching and pulling down, and I want that to be a witch hat. So I'll just keep doing this. This is my favorite way to make witch hats. This is different than what we did with the ghost. Look to that video I did last week if you wanna. You could also do something similar like I did the ghosts. For these witches, you could do that. So, and then I've got, this is also how I do my morning glory flowers. I'll have to do that sometime. Then I will tap it down. You'll start getting, you know, the little cracking and stuff, especially if you're in a drier climate. If you're more humid, you probably won't. So you can come back with the sponge, get that little wet, smooth all those out, or just if you want a ragged looking witch that's been around the block a few times, leave all of that. All that tearing in the clay would be super, super cool. I'm gonna have to do that someday. But for today, we're doing little pretty witches, I guess. So I'm just smoothing that out and pinching this just to make sure that I like a thinner look. Okay, so once I get it all smoothed out on my brim here, I will stick it back in there. So you can see our hat is coming together pretty nicely and pretty fast. So this is all up to you. However you want to do the top of your hat. I have done like this girl, I twisted her top for her hat, made it twisted. This one, let me see if I can pick her up, she's fairly wet. I just did a little curl. This one, she just got a little jaunt like the ghosts. And then this one, her hat has just got, you know, just a little flip. I usually will get my fingers wet and I will just pull this out, make this longer. Just kind of like you do a handle for a mug, except for you're just doing it with your fingers, not your whole hand, because it's very delicate. Just take it slow, and it's a really, really soft touch to get this to a point. If you get too much water, then it just gets kind of goopy, and then it's harder to clean up when it gets goopy. So with my hands dry, I will come in and then just take this and coax it into, maybe this one's got a curl up. Oh, that's kind of cute. So make it look like a spring. So it's got kind of a twist and kind of a flip. Kind of a twist and kind of a flip. Okay, so we're going to set the hat aside till we're ready for it. Check on her. I will come in. Like I said, I just rolled this out. This is not sat up at all, so it is super, super soft. I like working soft because, like I said, everything dries out so dang fast here in Utah. So I'll just clean up that inside. My little makeup brush. Just make sure that that looks good too. I'm going to bring her back here to where I can kind of look at her. So I'm going to take some of that extra clay and we're going to do her head. You can do faces on these if you want. You could draw faces on these. You could sculpt. In fact, when we're done, I'll show you one that I've actually sculpted, or I might include the video. So I usually do, instead of a round ball, it's more of an oval, more of that. Again, sorry for my finger, I must have, who knows, your hands, potter's hands are always awful looking hands because the clay and the glazes, everything you do dries them out. It gets really, really awful in wintertime when they crack and they bleed. All the stuff that we do for our art. Okay, so just kind of smooth their head. She kind of got an egg. I guess, yeah, about an egg. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to attach, if you'll see how I've got the top of that, it's almost like a cape, even though we're not going to use it like a cape. It's pretty much the back of her dress. So we're going to come in here, just carefully score. You can do this with a needle tool if you don't have a small scoring tool. I'm just going to score the back of her head. Add some slip. And then we're going to just stick that on. If your clay is super, super soft, she's not going to hold up her head. And that might be my problem here too, but I have a way to fix that. So I'm just going to smooth that on, make sure it's smooth, and let's get her dress. Set that aside for a second. And actually, I really like this one cape that I did, so I'm going to do another one of those. So this is just a bat cookie cutter. You could make a short cape out of one of these, or this one I actually did. Let me see if I can pick her up. So I actually did the big one off of her and attached this, and I actually put the lace in the back, including that bat. Flipped up her skirt so there's movement, and I added some little curls for shoes. I'm not going to do shoes on this one. Let's see. All right, so we're going to do a bat cape. So just cut out a bat. Bring it over here. I have found that I need to cut off little bat ears. They get in the way. So just use the little bat ears. Grab my fabric because I want this smooth. She's a very vogue witch. I want a bat cape. I think that would be super fun. All right. So I also want to, since I have this really, really cool applique lace that I got from Joann's last year, even though it doesn't fit quite on there, I'm still gonna roll it in. I'm just gonna set that on there and roll him in. I like a lot of texture on these witches. I can use underglaze and wipe it back. I can stain them with certain glazes, or I can do celadons that will highlight the texture in the glazing. It's just such a fun way to add a bunch of decoration. You could stamp up your witch, you know, if you don't have the rolling pin that you like, you could draw in how you want the texture. So there's my bat on my bat wings. So I am going to bring her over here very carefully. Actually, I need to have her facing me. So bring it up here, and I kind of want that to help support her head. So this, my little tops of my wings are going to be where they're connected. Like I said, my clay is super, super soft. So I'm just gonna bring it around. I just used some water, and I'm just gonna kind of, actually I'm gonna press her head back into that. And then one of my favorite tools is actually a pen. Doesn't work, and it's just the, I don't know if you can see that, just the dot. But it makes great doorknobs, it makes great buttons, it makes great inside of flowers, and I just press it in, and then all of a sudden I have like a toggle. See how cool that is? It's amazing. Look around your house at what you can use for texture. There's so many different things that you could use that don't cost anything. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff for texture. Just go through your house. That pin's probably been with me for a decade. I use it so much. Okay, so I'm just not really, like, I didn't really score and connect this. I just basically got that wet and pressed it, and it'll stay on. So, but there is her cape with her bat. All right. Now, if she does get super soft, I bought these little cardboard cones. Believe at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or some craft store like that. And these work really well to just kind of help support her so she's not resting all that weight on the lower part of her skirt. So you can do that, right? I think I'm gonna, because I'm making her super fast and not giving her time to stiffen up on me. All right, so now that I've got her that far, we need to do the hair. Now for the hair, I do a lot. All right, my phone shut off, so we're trying this again. For the hair, I do a lot with the little, this kind of flip on her hair. I kind of like that. I also do where I have, the polymer clay has an extruder for coils. So this is my kiln god, kiln idol, and I do her hair like that, and I press it out with the polymer clay one. All right, but that's a lot of work to do those. So this one, I'm gonna go ahead and use my MKM, just roll a little bit in there. And one of my cookie cutters that I use for the hair is this heart that is kind of at an angle. I'm sure you can take any type of heart cookie cutter, do something like this, or make your own pattern. So I rolled that texture into the MKM, and I'll come in here. I like that little curl that it gives right there at the top, kind of like she's got a jaunty curl. So I'll come in here and just kind of soften that. Sometimes I pull it a little bit, make it a little wider. So this is going to be your hair. So I'll go ahead and score the top of this and carefully score her. Come here, you. So I'll score the top of her head. Add some slip. And what's really cool about, let me see if I can do this facing you. What's really cool about adding this heart is you have a part already for the hair. And I'll bring like that bang, that swoop down over half her face. This is one of the reasons why I don't give them faces. And then I will just form the hair around her head. And then I usually take the back here and give her a little flip. I like that you can create movement in the clay by doing little things like that. So I'll take my little paintbrush, I'll come in here and just smooth that up around her face. And then I'm gonna, you know what, I don't like this little connection, that little hole, so we're going to fix that. So I'm going to take a little bead. You're actually building clothes, so watch some of, I don't know, Project Runway or something on how they build clothes if you don't have, if you haven't sewn. But, so I basically just gave her, it needs a little decoration done. Let me see what I got. I got a whole bunch of bisque tools and so forth in here. Except for I don't know if I can get this in here. Actually, I'll do this. We'll take it back off. And I've got this little bisque tool. It's got this little fun little wave right there. I don't know if you can see that. But it just gives it a little bit of extra texture. So we'll get that wet again. And it'll be like the button of her dress. She's obviously a straight-laced witch because her clothes come right up to her chin. But that's okay. Makes it kind of fun. Actually, if I want to, let's go ahead and drape her more like that. There we go. Smooth her hair down. Okay, now we're ready for her hat. You do need to be careful putting on her hat if she is too, if the hat's too heavy for her head will fall off. So I will show you how I do the hat, basically like this. But I am going to wait to put her hat on until she stiffens up a little bit. But in the meantime, we're going to work on her hat. So a couple of these witches, I did hat bands. So here's a little hat band with a little fun button. So another place for the glaze to catch. Here is another one with that MK roller. But she doesn't have any hat band here, and I actually kind of like that. These are, I rolled up a coil to either look like roses or snails or what have you. And then she also just has some flowers. She doesn't have a hat band. So make them your own. And both these witches that are already glazed, they're just flowers. So now I got to figure out what I want to do on her. You could, well, let's see, I've done, well, I'll go ahead and do, I like the little roses, so, or snails, so they could be, actually, I wonder if this guy would work. I have this little fondant thing that actually has a snail in it. I'm going to try putting one in here real quick, see if I can get it to work. I usually dust these with cornstarch or cooking spray. Oh, that's kind of cute. Let's see if we can use this. And my knife went where? It's funny how your tools crawl and they're usually right in front of you. It's called something when you've got that kind of blindness when everything's right in front of you and you still can't see it. So we're going to cut him out. Cake decorating supplies are great for doing any type of hand building like this. There's a lot of fondant molds that you can use. That's actually kind of cute. So I think we will go with the snail. So I'm going to go ahead and score the back of the snail and score the hat. And we'll slip them. And we will put a little snail, a little happy snail. Maybe the snail's her familiar. Press that on there, and then come and clean him up. Just make sure all your connections are good. And I didn't cut out his antenna because I knew I would lose his antenna, but if I come in here with a tool and press between his antennas, hopefully I'll be able to save his little antennas. Okay, very, very fun. You can get carried away with these guys. All right. Oh, how fun. All right, so what I would do next is come in and score the top of her head, score her hat, and slip them together. So score the hat, score the top of her head, even though this is I probably should wait, but I'll go ahead and put it on. For you guys, I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll just keep an eye on her so she doesn't lose her head. All right, so I'm gonna support her head a little bit here as I press her hat on. And that is basically your witch. So you can add to this. However, can't wait to see what you guys are gonna do. I mean, I actually had the idea it'd be fun to maybe do a corset on one, or I did a leaf witch. Actually, let me show you my leaf witch. She overlooks the studio. I don't know if you can see her in the window there. Hold on. Ah, you can't see her. So I will put a picture of her in. So I made a leaf witch last year, and she watches over us here in the studio because I couldn't bear to part with her. Anyway, I hope you found this enjoyable, and I have no idea what I'm going to make next. I'll make something next week, whether it's wheel or hand building. I do have an order of fairy houses to do, but I think that might be too long of a video because they take a long time to do. So I need to get working on that. But for now, here's some witches, and I can't wait to see what you do, and I hope that you post pictures and tag me in them so that I can see how far this takes you. Anyway, have a great day. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and give it a like if you like the video. Thanks, and have a good day.